Welcome back to the £100 to £10,000 reselling challenge, where I started with £100 and I resell my way up to £10,000. This is episode number 2. So if you haven't seen the first one, here's a little reminder of everything that happened. I managed to buy 6 pairs. In fact, I only spent £96 and 4p. And I managed to sell 3 of them within the first episode. So the 3 pairs I sold were the Nike Reacts, the Vapor Max, and the Yeezy 380s. However, up until just an hour before I started recording this video, 3 of the pairs hadn't sold. However, 2 of them sold in 30 minutes. So let me show you them. The other Nike Reacts sold for £29.50 and these Jordan 1 Lows sold for £20. As usual, I'm going to get straight back onto Vinted and try and spend the full budget. We've got £73.96 to play with. I think we could get another 4 to 5 pairs.
10 hours later.
I'm back. It's the next morning now. I did also get paid out on the Jordan 1 Lows and on the Yeezy 380s, which bumped my budget up to a total of £112.96. And with that money, I managed to buy another 9 pairs. So let's run through everything I bought really quickly. So we got Air Max 95 for £17.74, Vapor Max 3 for £13.69, another Air Max 95 for £6.23, some P6000 for £11.59, Air Force Ones for £7.39, some Adidas Campus for £18.94, another Vapor Max for £13.69, some Air Max 2017 for £5.94, and some TNs for £14.73, which puts my budget back down to £3.
2 days later.
The first couple pairs have arrived, but we've had a stink already. But let me show you the good pairs that arrived. So we've got the black P6000s. These ones are a size 11. These are the next pair, white Air Force. But they're an Air Max 95. They're the £6 ones. Then I did get excited when I bought these for £18. But literally, the second I took them out of the bag, I was like, nah, something isn't right here. And initially, if you know about campers, they should be that much higher. So that the heel area is not high enough. And they're also not chunky. It's like you gave Adidas Campus a Zempic or something. They're just so thin and flimsy. And then, obviously, we checked the size label. And I'm going to see if you guys can see that size tag. I'm going to put a real one on the screen right now. But, yeah, it's just so thin in comparison to a real one. It's the text on it is so thin. And it just looks so clapped. And I was like, yeah, these are fake. So the sellers accepted the return on these. We'll go and get them prepped, ready for sale. And yeah, easy as that. So quick update. We got both of these have now been cleaned, but these have just been sprayed down with the water sprayer shower thingy, like high power pressure wash type beat. And then I'll clean them properly tomorrow. They've been cleaned on the bottoms. And then the laces for the Air Force are soaking in here. I finally got paid out on those Nike Reacts, which puts the budget back up to £32.50. So as usual, I went straight back onto Vinted and managed to buy another 2 pairs. So I picked up these Mercurials for £10.87. Now these are the top level. These are the elite ones that retail for £200 to £300. As you can see, the title says Nike football boots, which means that the seller didn't maybe necessarily know exactly what they were listing. Therefore, I can capitalise off of it. And I picked up some Air Max 90s for just under £19. Realistically, I'll get 30, maybe 35 if I'm lucky. So a nice £10 to £15 profit on them as well. And the P6000 in triple black sold on Depop for £42.38. These are a prime example of why you need to multi-list. You need to utilise other platforms. And Vinted have notified me there are some more parcels to collect. So we're going to go and drop these off and go and collect the new parcels. So only 2 pairs have arrived today. We've got these that cost me £5.95. They don't have the insoles, so I'm going to list them for 20, take 15, make a quick 10 piece on that. And then we've got these TNs that were £15, which I'm going to list maybe at about £40 to £50. I'm going to have a look at market. But I want to sell them cheaper than market so they sell fast. But yeah, those are the only 2 that arrived today. These ones are a 10 as well, which is a great size. But as you can see, the soles are pretty worn and then there's a bit of cracking there. So I'm going to go prep these now and get everything ready to list. Both the TNs and the Air Max 2017 got listed last night, and thankfully these sold pretty quickly for £20, which is over £14 in profit and over 230% return. I still have to get listed up the white Air Max 95s, which I don't even think I've shown you. I just completely forgot to show them to you. I'll put them on screen right now. Then I've got those £6 beige Air Max 95s and then the £7 white Air Forces. But I had to let them all air out before I could put them up for sale. So I'm going to try and get them up for sale today, and then we're completely up to date for now. If anything changes, I will let you know.
Much later.
TNs have now sold for £40, which means I made a profit of over £25 on these. Not too bad. Let's go and post these right now. We're still waiting on 3 more pairs to arrive. However, one more has come today, and it is the black and white Air Max 90s. To be fair, these aren't bad. They just need a little clean up. So I'm going to go prep these now. So as you know, literally in the last clip, these had just arrived. Well, this is a couple hours later. I've cleaned them all and prepped them and laced them and stuff. And I found a hole on the inner heel. So I messaged the seller and they gave me a £5.20 partial refund. So these cost me £13 and 69 pence. And then I had another delivery. These are supposed to be the white UK7 Vapor Max. And this is what the seller sent. Some other Vapor Maxes. They're definitely worth less. So I messaged the seller and he's just refunded me completely. So we got them for free. I'm just going to stick them up for £10 or £15 and it's free money, I guess, which is a benefit to us. And then I also got paid out on the 2017 Air Max for £20. So after the partial refund on the black Air Max 90s, it puts my budget up to £27.94. So of course, I went onto Vinted and within 5 minutes, I managed to spend the budget. So I'll quickly tell you what I bought. Oh, quickly, these also arrived. I've already prepped them and I've already listed them. So hopefully these sell tonight. But these were a steal. Anyway, so I bought some Hirachis in triple black and then some React Visions. Now it puts the budget back down to £6.33. However, I think we're still waiting on another £100 odd payout from a couple other sales. So that's where we're at right now. I've listed everything that's arrived, and except for these Vapor Maxes because I had to wait to get a refund. So that's where we're at, and hopefully the Mercurials should sell tonight. I think I'm going to price them at £50 or £60, and I think they'll sell fast. I realised after I filmed that clip just before that I'm kind of at another standstill. Whilst I wait for the 2 pairs to arrive and all the money to get paid out, and then for the current stock to sell, there's literally nothing I can do right now. So I feel like it's the perfect time to actually end this episode. But before I do, I'm going to give you a full rundown of exactly where we're at financially, how much profit we've made, how many pairs we have, etc, etc. So I'm going to run it down for you now. So these are all the completed sales. You know, we've got the 5 from the first episode that I bought, then these obviously paid out in this episode. So £91 profit from the initial 6 pairs. These 2 sales are pending payout right now. And then this is everything that we're going to have in stock. Some of these have been listed. Obviously, the Campus is fake, so I'm just waiting for a refund on that, which is why it's still on this list. These were free, which is also great. Then these have now been listed, and these have now been listed, and then we're waiting on arrival for these 2. So I think we're off to the perfect start. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you very soon for episode number 3 of turning £100 into 10k through reselling.